Hi, welcome. My name is Lauren, and today I'll be showing you how I go from this is like 3 to 4 weeks, so like no retwist. I usually like to just let my hair go, which I feel like that's just how locks are supposed to be. You're supposed to just let your hair breathe, you know. I even like this. It's really pretty. But I'm going to be showing you how I get to this, the lock bob, and I'm going to try to make this a very simple tutorial. First, you want to start with your gel of choice. I use locks and braids for a stronger hold. Then I like to use an edge brush with a comb and a brush and some water. If you have a squirt bottle, please use that. I just did not have one, so I just took water straight out of the sink. First thing I like to do is part the front of my hair. So I like the front of my head to look cleaner. That's why I like to take the edge brush just to clean it up and kind of brush the hairs into place. The back of my hair, I really don't care. I really just care about the front, making that just a little bit cleaner. The parts in the back of my head are more free parts, so I usually just kind of feel it out. So this is what I have. This is how I cleaned it up, and you want to make sure you have at least 2 locks since we're two-strand twisting. So make sure you have that. Then I start the retwisting process. So I take a little bit of that gel and apply it to that first lock, and I'm also gonna try to make sure I'm getting the gel kind of thoroughly in there, so that all of my hairs are kind of locked into place. Then I like to clean it up with an edge brush, so I use the brush part of the edge brush to brush all my hairs back, so it looks a little cleaner. For the retwist, I twist all of my hair counterclockwise in my perspective. It looks like clockwise here, so I'm going to talk about it that way. I use the palm rolling method, so first you need to figure out which way your hair goes, and just what we talked about, my hair goes clockwise. So in order to do clockwise, your left hand needs to be moving up and your right hand needs to be going down. And you're going to rub your hands in that direction to get that twist. And if you're trying to go counterclockwise, your right hand is going to go up and then your left hand is going to go down. And I palm roll about 3 to 4 times, 2 to 3 times. Not too much because I don't want to create too much tension, but just enough where it's holding all of the loose hairs in place. Now that we have 2 retwisted locks, now we can start the two-strand twist. So keep in mind which direction you twisted your locks in, and you'll be twisting the 2 hairs together in the opposite direction. Since I twisted my locks in a clockwise direction, I want to twist my 2 locks together in a counterclockwise direction. And as you go down, you want to make sure that you're twisting your locks in their respectable direction as you're twisting the hairs in the opposite direction. Hopefully that makes sense, but if not, I'm gonna show you an example of what happens if you don't do that. So I'm twisting my hair in the opposite direction and it does not want to stay and it looks like it's going to unravel. So that's why I do the other way, because it locks it in place. And this might take some trial and error, but just keep practicing and you will get it. Now you don't have to twist the hair all the way down, but I just do it because I don't know why I did it. You can actually just stop retwisting it whenever you have the length that you want. But to get the bob, what I do is I line up the lock to where I want it to be, then I fold it up to create a loop, and then I wrap the locks around the base of the loop that we created, and then I keep going until I just have a little bit of hair at the end, and you'll see that. Now that we're left with a little bit of the lock left, we can put that inside of the loop we created and pull it through to create a knot, and this will help secure it. You can also use a rubber band if you feel like it's not going to stay. I do that if I feel like the locks are not going to stay, but this usually stays for me. And yeah, now I'm going to show y'all how I do a 3-strand twist. I actually don't know a proper method of 3-strand twisting. I know there's like a whole special way to do it, but it never stays, so I just do this method to make my 3-strand twisting easy. So what I do is I take 2 locks and I twist those together. So we do the 2-strand twist, and then after I do the 2-strand twist on the 2 locks, then I wrap the 3rd lock around those 2 locks. Once those are down, then I start adding in the 3rd hair. So you know how I said to twist the hair in the opposite direction? You're still going to do that, but you're only going to be twisting the single lock in its direction to keep it from unraveling, and then you just leave the 2nd lock alone. So you're basically just wrapping the 3rd lock around the 2-strand twist, and that's how I do that. And then we do the same thing, make the lock knot at the bottom with the loop, and then you secure it. And now you got it. Now you just need to do the same steps all over your head until you're done. This day probably took me around 4 hours. I'm not gonna lie to you. It usually would probably take 2 to 3 hours, but I was really trying to be particular about it. And if you have any hairs that are just sticking out like how mine hair does, you can just take a rubber band and tie it down. Fun fact, I had my locks for around 12 years and I don't think I really have gone to get my hair done except for like 3 or 4 times. My mom refused to pay for that, so she taught me how to do my hair. She did my hair and I just learned how to do my own hair. So hopefully this was helpful so you can do your hair or do somebody else's hair and just save some money. Also, what I like to do is just brush my edges back because I don't know how to do my edges, so I just push them straight back into that lock because I don't know how to do that. But yeah, hopefully you like how this turned out. You see how versatile this is. You can put it in the side part, you can put it into the middle part. Hopefully this was really helpful for you. And let me know what you think about the hair and let me know how your hair turns out. And thanks for watching. Come back next time and have a wonderful day.